So the Hodge twins, the notorious conservative political commentators, have dropped a video on me today. For context, I tagged the video below of my response to Joe Rogan's statements. So the video that they responded to is the video response I did to Joe Rogan on one of his podcasts of him calling diversity a sideshow. And in true black conservative fashion, they decide to use their blackness to try to defend Joe Rogan. Check this.
No, but this black dude, man, he's not thinking rationally. Well, what is he saying? He said Joe Rogan is a white supremacist. Well, he is. No, he ain't. There he is. Dude's making all this money. He's white. White supremacist. That's how that shit works. According to black people, yeah.
Now, if you guys did just a little bit of research, you would understand that Joe Rogan has been under fire for years over his very problematic and racist remarks he's been making on his podcast for a number of years now. So this is not new.
There he is. Dude's making all this money. He's white. White supremacist. That's how that shit works. According to black people, yeah.
So according to the Hodge twins, someone who's a white supremacist is someone who advocates for people making a lot of money. I don't think that's the definition, sir. In fact, let's pull up the actual definition. White supremacist is a person who believes that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups. Now that we know what it actually means, continue.
Well, this is a level of ignorance amongst our people. Well, this is the problem. It needs to be addressed. Well, this is the problem. Black people view everything from this racist lens. Yeah. So if you view everything from a racist lens, you will see almost everything and you'll find racism in it.
I find it very interesting to see black conservatives co-signing Joe Rogan's take, especially when it's concerning diversity and DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion was put into place to help give an equal footing, equal opportunity to marginalized groups. And the whole reason why this had to be created and implemented is because evidence of systemic discrimination in workplaces, in hiring process, in higher educational learning. There's research that shows that black-white disparities exist on nearly all dimensions of experiences with public and private institutions, including healthcare, the police, and evidence of systemic discrimination suggests that need for more active institutional intervention to address the system policy and practices. There were actual studies that were done that found evidence of systemic racial discrimination across multiple domains in the United States. Don't believe me? Here's some research to prove it. Distinctively, black names were reduced in the probability of employer contact by 2.1%, points relative to distinctive white names. So discrimination on names alone will warrant not having a callback from an employer. Studies also prove discrimination against women, revealing that some firms favor male applicants over women. And out of the top 100 companies in the United States, 23 individual companies are found to discriminate against black applicants. And this test was done by sending out 8,300 test applications, more than 100 companies, many of which featured Fortune 500 companies that revealed that racial bias, particularly against black job seekers, is a pervasive issue. In 2022, just 2 years ago, Wells Fargo was exposed for conducting fake job interviews of diverse candidates when the job openings were already filled. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is a much needed, necessary program to be implemented in higher education, higher institutions, and also in the workplace. DEI involves the creation of different programs and policies to address the societal inequities. DEI helps create an equal footing for everyone, but they're not hiring based on merit. They should be hiring based on merit. Conversation of being hired based on merit is disingenuous alone. Merit is in the eyes of the beholder, the person who's hiring, And if the hiring manager sees male applicants as the best applicants in their mind, then they will hire in their line of merit. It needs to be a male. And if the hiring manager sees that they want to have another white candidate and they see that white candidates are better to them based on merit, then they will hire only white candidates. So us saying that hiring based on merit is very disingenuous because the hiring manager holds the power to who is employed. One interesting thing that I find about the Hodge twins and their toxic masculinity who's drowning in misogyny is whenever they want to go after somebody in their argument, in their points of what they're speaking about, they don't usually go after their points. They go after other things like their features, their looks, their sexuality. And in this case, they tried to attack my sexuality, which I don't even care because it shows me further that you just didn't know what else to say. So you just chose to attack my sexuality instead. Grow up.
Yeah, you are what you call low IQ. You was a dumb Negro. You a bad representation of Negroes. Yeah, you make me look bad. Yeah. Cause you a sideshow. That don't look right, man. Trying to build some muscle, man.
Wasn't that the content you were doing prior to political commentary on the right? You know, just selling out your own community, because basically that's what you're doing, because you found out that you get more money that way selling out black people, right? I don't have to say much because your content says it all. So there's that.
I don't know. Maybe it's a white supremacist. Maybe I'm a white supremacist. Maybe I'm a blackface white supremacist.
Took the words right out of my mouth.